All right. Hello, everybody. This is Drew Garrison, Flow Communications Manager, and we're very excited today to host the Epix team. We'll be chatting with them about their premium NFT platform, and they're not just launching a single product. They are a platform for bringing products to life. Things like Neuno, Enemy Metal, and Mike Thompson's hip hop icons, which we'll hear a lot about here shortly. Really excited to hear from their team about what they've been working on and really showcase the great work that's happening behind the scenes with them. Also want to give a quick disclaimer that they actually had a slight emergency, so they had to relocate. So they are going to be a little bit noisier in the background. They're at a hotel right now, so they could join us, and we thank them so much for being flexible and getting that done for us. But a slight soundtrack when they're talking. Sorry, folks, but just wanted to be, give a little disclaimer here before we get going. But with that said, Christina, hey, how you doing?
Hi, yes, I'm a bit on a noisy side. It's really nice to be here. Thank you so much, Drew and the team for having us. I'm Christina, co-founder and CBDO of Epix. I'm very happy to be here. I don't know if I should give a short overview of myself or what will be the right way to do, but yeah, I have quite a, let's say, wide experience in business development and sales for the last 10 years. And the last 3 years, I'm working in blockchain industry, started with Cointelegraph as the biggest crypto media, and then joined Epix as a co-founder.
Great. And we also have Fred Noguera here. How you doing, Fred?
Yeah, I'm doing great, Drew. Thank you so much for having us here and introducing a little bit of the Epix universe to the Flow crowd. Yeah, my background starts with collectibility, I believe, since I know myself as a person. So game cards, figurines, you name it. So I was always in love with collecting stuff, and then got later into art collection. So I'm a big fan of surrealism, pop art, pop surrealism, and got it like more seriously about getting some let's say masters of surrealism into my collection, and that's where the adventure started when I was trying to get authenticity verified for some of the pieces that I got into auctions and so on, and got into a whole hassle of let's say scrutiny to my pieces, and I still have pieces in foundations and under investigation to see if they could find the artist's hand on it. And that's how Pixeos was born back in 2017, to try to use blockchain auditability, mutability to solve the issues of real art authentication and provenance tracking. So yeah, back there we started to study how to get these working. We built a full platform that is still up and running, that is Pixeos. And we kept on evolving the technology behind everything that we do to ensure top level security and the real authenticity that the NFT can provide for collectibles.
Thank you so much, Fred. And we also have Jack here, who's working on one of the products launching on Epix next month, Enemy Metal. Jack, how you doing today? You're muted, Jack.
You're muted, Jack.
Oh, sorry, I'm muted.
No problem, man.
Anyway, very excited to be announcing for the first time Enemy Metal. Yeah. So I'm Jack, and my background is in 3D animation. I used to be an animation director and producer, working on television commercials, and I moved into game development after that. And yeah, I think for the last more than 2 years now, I've been working with some of the Epix teams on NFTs. And we've tested on various blockchains, and we just weren't getting the kind of performance we wanted. And yeah, I think we found a great home with Flow. So yeah, we're really excited to be launching soon.
Awesome. So thank you so much for like a brief intro on each of, kind of who you are and kind of Epix. So I'd love to just start chatting about what's going on there. And whoever wants to take the lead on this one, can you give us kind of a high level overview of what Epix is and why blockchain enthusiasts should be excited about your platform? And that's like whether it's the dApps that are being built or the technology that you're using to build it and what you're thinking about and how you're thinking about it. I'd love to know just more about overall what's going on at Epix.
Yeah, so Epix is the result of already 3 and something years working with NFTs. So we were basically born at the same time as CryptoKitties and Dapper Labs NFT standard back in the day. So these 3 years of experience are summed into let's say a bunch of technologies and infrastructures that we've been building to allow for the real verification and security of assets, of collectibles. So in Epix, we really use several layers of both blockchain, obviously, and right now with Flow, that it was amazing to match with the Flow ecosystem to do that, but to assure authenticity and a long life cycle for digital and physical collectibles. So what's exciting about Epix is that we are bringing like very exclusive collections and projects. We wanted to get into different business, let's say, cases. So with Neuno, we're dealing with fashion. Enemy Metal starts our gaming adventure from the collectability of cards to the arcade games, where you can actually play with the ships that you build with your NFT collectibles, and Epix itself as a platform for very special premium collections from artists like Mike Thompson, and extending to other like brands and artists, but always with the, let's have in mind the old style of collecting cards for Epix. So Epix will launch very special card packs, let's say artwork boxes, and even photos with these limited editions, as we see also in NBA Top Shots and so on. So drops will come at a later stage in another platform that we are developing. That is still a kind of a quiet project, but that's about it. It's to serve the NFT world with very robust technology and solid implementations to get mainstream, as Flow is doing as well.
Thank you so much, Fred. And I actually would love to hear from Christina too, just kind of how you would describe what's going on at Epix and how you think about the platform you're building.
Well, I believe the main thing that makes Epix so exciting is exactly our professional approach to what we're building. Because as you know, and Fred mentioned before, we started in 2018. So we have quite a long way that we've been through and a lot of experience that we gained through it. So with all that we've learned and with our background in artists, collectibles, business development, blockchain development, let's say IT structures and ecosystems, all this helps us really bring NFTs to a new level. So it's really a mainstream approach with industry-grade technologies, with security being taken seriously, with the storage being taken seriously. So all these aspects make us a big potential player of NFT as a professional industry.
Thank you so much. That was a wonderful breakdown. Thank you, Christina. And you kind of alluded to what my next question was, that you're not like Epix has been around for a long time. Before this, you were Pixeos. Your team has a great history in the crypto space. You were early into it, and we just really wanted to highlight that you're not just jumping onto it. Your team has been here for a long time, and we'd just love to hear a little bit more about that history and kind of your long-term commitment to the crypto space.
Right. Well, I believe I can proceed, as I already started with this a bit of a historical overview. So as it was said, we started back in 2018 with way before all this hype, way before many people even knew what NFTs are. And basically the idea was always to solve the real issues that arts industry, collectible industry is experiencing based on personal experience of our CEO, Fred, who was dealing with these issues and knew it from the basics. And with these issues being that well known and the power of blockchain being discovered by the tech team and other team members, let's say, passion, we came up with the idea that NFTs can be a good solution for those things. And that basically was it. That was the base of Pixeos in that time, and which we now call Epix. Yeah, that's a screenshot. So our idea was always about the verification of the assets. So we always kept it in the way that everything that you buy on our platform is verified, it's really authentic, and belongs to the artist that claims that it is. So it was never about the open space of buying whatever, selling whatever. It's about art, artists, and collectibles in the, as I said, professional manner. And with that, I think we have a great team at the moment. So part of us is presented here, those that's not probably watching us right now. Hi, guys. So, for example, our CTO has experienced more than 10 years. He's in blockchain for the last 3-4 years, if I'm not mistaken. And he's been dealing with so many issues, and he's a real solution architect. So Mario, if you're listening to us, hi, and thank you for all you're doing. And this kind of passion from each part of the team, I think brought us to the next stage, which is Epix, because together with Flow, we saw the potential to develop even further, coming to the next stages that I believe we will cover a bit further down the line during this AMA.
Yeah. Great, thank you. And Fred, did you want to add anything kind of on your history? And I know you kind of touched on it when you introduced yourself, but kind of maybe even further back, because I know you wanted to chat, or you've already discussed that it was the verification of actual art that kind of led you down this path, but just kind of your thoughts on being kind of early in the crypto space and kind of finding the solution early on, just from an actual real world problem you're trying to solve.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, back in the day, we were looking for first a solution that would fit, let's say, mainstream users, the internet users, someone that would click and want things fast and cheap and transact and not be waiting or dealing with wallets and dealing with gas and all that. So we chose first a DPoS architecture that ended up as the ideal match when we decided about partnering with Flow. But back in the day, that allowed us to build first a more evolved smart contract for NFT. So the standard, we built our own standard to tackle art issues. So we didn't use any existing standard. The standard from design was already shaped to have on chain actions, like the whole auction system. So we were doing the whole auction on chain, and different kinds of auctions as well. We were always very, very careful about verification. So we started to use very early AI to deal and to help us, our curators, to identify if there were counterfeits in the market, a similar image from the same artist being sold in another platform. So very, very early on Pixeos back then, we could put down at least 25, 30 counterfeits and never had them again. So we have this layer of verification that is actually we call it the verification protocol, that is infrastructure that is dealing with all the image, with different information from the blockchain. So we have blockchain auditing of the wallets. We create relationships between the wallets. We also put down some, let's say, NFT scam cartels back then, trying to fake other artists. So we're very, very serious about this collectibility game back in the day. And the POS architecture helped us to develop also more usable systems, like the payment system, the custodian system, and make it seamless to register, seamless to transact, and very seamless to use the platform, and very cheap, if not free, because our idea was always free to mint, and we want to keep the free to mint also in the future. Epix is not let's say, an open platform, but we'll have open platforms and open infrastructures in the future for people to interact with their own artwork. And actually, we're developing within that Epix some exciting things. That is the Epix Legends for each and every artist to be able to launch. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We were always serious about the technology, not only the technology, but how important it is to deal with counterfeits and have a network, a blockchain network that supports that. That's the case with Flow.
Awesome, thank you. And then we'll bounce back to Christina for this one. I guess maybe at the starting point, what attracted your team to build on Flow, and maybe what advantages did you see when you made that decision, when you were weighing your options as to where you wanted to take the Epix platform as a whole?
Well, I would say I mentioned that for us, it's important to keep it professional and open for the mainstream user and let's say mainstream brands, not just crypto-related brands. So Flow basically clicks with these two main points that I just mentioned. So obviously, that's a serious blockchain powered by very serious IP holders, investors, and so on. So that's definitely something that gains a lot of attention, and we were not the ones to just ignore such a big and interesting player that shares the same vision of the NFTs going global and being the real technology that's being used not just by the crypto folks, but like average mainstream user being able to interact with something blockchain related. So that definitely was something that caught our attention. And then just I must say, dealing with your team is always a pleasure. It's high-level professionals, and it's just that's when you feel that everything goes right and well. When on all levels you just see people that share your vision.
And then maybe I'm mistaken what outlet it was, but I think it was Engadget, or I saw you kind of made a cameo, Christina, just talking about trying to find an eco-friendlier solution when it comes to blockchain.
Yeah.
And just kind of, is that something that's really important to you? And just kind of want to know your background there.
Absolutely. Yes, and Fred was already mentioning that we were building before on DPoS blockchain. So for us, it was from the beginning quite important, not just scalability, not just the speed, but also these, let's say, factor of eco-friendliness that, well, unfortunately, many platforms and players so far are closing eyes on. And of course, this is like a great bonus that you get besides the professionalism and maturity of a Flow as blockchain and Flow as a team, then knowing that this technology won't harm the planet. For me personally, just that's it. It's all right. So my personal opinion on that was mentioned in this article that you're referring to. It's very important. I believe it's still very early to say that any blockchain is super green and in general NFT industry is green, but I'm sure that we will get there.
Awesome, thank you. And then what advantages do you see, Fred? When was it kind of like a light bulb to you that it was like, you know what, we're moving to Flow and this is the right home for us?
Yeah, when you're like 3 years trying to, and actually you are the best in what you do, right? So we were the first to mint DPoS NFT. We were the first open gallery in DPoS right now, so famous, eco-friendly network. We built very, very serious solutions for verification, anti-counterfeit. We were very serious about the blockchain side of things, taking care of our collectors. And we couldn't find support. Like people, they still didn't understand what we were building back then and how early it was, and how it already advanced in our let's say infrastructure and our technology. So for me, it was a relief to find a partner like Flow that understand that these must go mainstream, that these must go for everyone, that these must be accessible through a credit card. This must be people, they may be able to transact. They don't need to have like a whole layer of complication to be able to get a digital collectibles. And the brands that they need this new avenue of how to engage with fans, how to get people involved with their brands, and artists as well deserve to do it in a serious and a proper way, not just dropping anywhere else. And then what's next, right? What will happen with that asset in 10 years? Pix is already 3 years taking care of authenticity. So we're really here to stay, and right now partnering with Amazon, using like industry grade solid solutions for storage, for the overall security of users, the queuing. Like we know that there are a lot of challenges when you open a sale. It can get overloaded. The website can have issues. So we've been together with you guys, and you guys are amazing on that, for supporting us, trying to launch something that will be super simple, seamless for any kind of collectors to come. Use Apple Pay, use Google Pay, use a credit card, use the new Flow USD that just came out today, right? And we care about what happens in secondary market as well. So it makes no sense that you cannot use different means of payment to trade in the secondary market just because you're dealing with blockchain, right? So we're looking to tackle all those issues. Like if you want only to use USD or Flow USD, you may be able to buy, to sell, to cash in, to cash out. And that's when and how the NFT technology will have a full solution for any collector out there.
Thank you for the kind words. We're really excited to work with you guys too. We're really excited to have you in our ecosystem, and that you chose us to be your partner in building that future. So thank you for the responses, guys. So moving forward, you made Pixeos, but now you're moving on to your next idea. How did that go from we have Pixeos to we want to build Epix and be a home for multiple different types of products and different types of collectibles and different types of experiences for users, and not just like a single product focus?
So I think we're missing here a bit of a stage for us as a project, because Pixeos wasn't the only product that we launched back in the day. There was Avatar Maker, there was Canvas. So it was basically our idea from the scratch to be the ecosystem, not just one product, not just one product-oriented thing. And as long as at that stage where our focus and priority was art, we were building everything art-related, such as those products that I mentioned. However, again, user retention is not just a word, not just a phrase for us. So coming further, when we started developing on Flow, we immediately knew that that's the way to do it, because it's much more interesting, and long-term, it's more interesting for the user to be engaged with the multiple products built by one trusted team, rather than just another dApp that, of course, it's also cool. We won't say anything bad about that. But our vision was always ecosystem and full solution for different types of products, brand, IP holders, and so on.
Yeah, Pixeos back then was designed as a protocol. So our solutions were to extend to a whole gamified, let's say, universe of dApps. So we had back then, and that's what like kind of frustrates me as the visionary and creator of all this, because we were to do something like the Decentraland much back there in the day. We had AR solutions being already implemented. We had a full multiplayer ecosystem with games that would interact with the NFTs back there. That collaborative canvas that was successful during some time, but unfortunately, like the whole network didn't thrive like we expected. And everything was connected with gamification and NFTs. So it was an ongoing huge game of collectability that we designed back in 2017, brought to life, but didn't have users, didn't have supports to keep going with that. So we're reinventing the wheel that we invented back then, right now in Flow.
Yeah. And then going forward, now that you're kind of curating your experience, you want to have a really premium outlook on what you bring to the Epix platform. How do you guys pick out the dApps that fit your vision? And what's the process like? A development team maybe wants to be part of the Epix umbrella. Just they're ready to go.
Yeah, so first we're dealing with high-end projects, like you've seen, like Neuno was very early, let's say, partnership that we made, a joint venture to help them bringing like a serious fashion, digital fashion experience to the game. So they really cared about this layer of like authenticity. How do you guarantee that my fashion asset will not be easily minted, right? Or that we won't have a counterfeit in the market, or that the brand has the royalties assured. So they're very serious issues that we take seriously, from even the legal aspect of Epix Industries as a company, like that we want to assure the brands that they're dealing with the right partner in every sense. So not only go to market and sell a lot and make millions, and then there is counterfeit next day, or there is no liquidity because there is all these excitement. And what's next for me? My $3 million artwork that I just bought and no one touches, right? So what we're trying to build here is a cyclic, horizontally gamified ecosystem to assure collectors to be always able to do something with their collectibles, or at least keep transitioning from one collection to the other to an exciting way. And we decided to get into three business models. Like, we were working with Jack for a long time, so like the relationship Enemy Metal Epix happened already back in the day. We were supposed to launch in the other network, and we decided when we started working with you guys that it would make sense to invest and put a lot of effort on making Enemy Metal even more awesome, because right now we have a public that can make Enemy Metal incredible by collecting it and evolving with Enemy Metal. With Neuno, it always made sense for us to get into fashion. It was very early day that we wanted to supply authenticity solutions for fashion. That's why we started very early with the NFC tags and wireless solution for physical assets to bring the blockchain provenance to real artworks, fashion items, and so on. So it made a lot of sense to be able to put this technology in place with Neuno. And then our own platform, that is Epix. It was always our dream to have like a premium collectibles platform that would scale and evolve and be thoroughly gamify and try to avoid illiquid assets in the secondary market, and bring mainstream payment methods for people to not only buy but also sell and cash out, and keep going from there. Bring physical figurines like you have in Sideshow, but scannable with the NFT provenance and unlockable content. So you're buying a real high quality first class superhero figurine, and then you have the whole digital universe to support it, and an immutable provenance to guarantee that edition is not counterfeitable in the outside market, like it happens so much with toy figurines out there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And then, so now, we've talked a lot about Epix and kind of your vision and what you're trying to build as a high level, kind of larger vision. But now I'd love to just kind of start going down the pipeline of what's already, announced and what's already on the way. And we'll get into each of these products separately, but just to start as a little introduction to each, and maybe great person lead here for the first part of this is Jack, and just tell us a little bit. We'll go into Enemy Metal a bit more, but tell us a little bit about Enemy Metal and what users should expect when we get started here, just what it is.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we're really excited about this. It's been a couple of years that we've been planning it out, and Enemy Metal is a whole adventure. It's more than just a game. We're trying to build a whole economy that's going to benefit the players. So through a manner of stages, starting with our foundation card sale, we'll move into a construction phase, and players will be able to use those cards to build mines and starports on the planets. And then finally into a mining phase, and they'll actually be able to use those mines and starports to mint their own NFTs. And this will create like a cycle where the players are the ones creating the cards for the future players. And that even extends further into our 3D NFTs with the Starship Factory. And then finally, those starships will then be used in the arcade game, and you'll actually be able to visit the planets and mine on the surface of the planets of our new star system. So, you know, we've got more than a year's worth of development planned out already. You know, and it's long, even longer into the future, but always with the player in mind. The collector is the most important, and we want to give them something that's not just a collectible card, but it actually means something, and it becomes part of the economy, and the players are Enemy Metal.
Awesome, thank you. I'm looking forward to hearing a little bit more about Enemy Metal here shortly. Next product, love somebody to take the lead on here. I'm going to launch this to Christina. Love to hear more about Neuno, and kind of, I know there was a pretty big hype cycle around the Vogue business article that really brought a lot of exposure and curiosity as to what's being built. So I'd love to hear more about that.
Absolutely. Well, this interest in Neuno is absolutely very well deserved. Let's say it's a very interesting project that's dedicated to digital NFT collectibles, specifically for fashion. By fashion, I mean real luxury brands being issuing their NFTs with the potential for the user on later stages to wear them as skins, as masks, filters in the social media, and so on. So it's a quite a long-term project, let's say, with the very first stage being NFT digital luxury collectibles that will be launched one by one with the specific brands. I don't want to open up too much for now, because it's still a long way to go before we launch that. But yeah, a lot of things are being prepared right now. So I think it will be quite a launch when we get there. So yeah, stay tuned.
Awesome. And then next, just a quick rundown before we dive into the details of Mike Thompson's hip hop icons.
Yeah. I mean, for me, that's just a pleasure to introduce this specific collection. I'm a big hip hop fan, so I have everything in this collection that just makes me, you know, feel very hyped. It's a collection of 65 cards in the main collection. It will be a collection dedicated, as you already know from the name, to the hip hop icons. Mike Thompson is the artist, huge artist, that was working with Marvel, with Hasbro, with Echo. He knows personally many people that he had a chance to present in this collection. For instance, like he was commissioned by Kanye West for one of the videos of Kanye. So that type of people and brands Mike was working all his artistic life. And this collection is basically the result of hard work of Mike for the last 30 years. I'm very excited for the launch. It will happen after the Enemy Metal collection launch. And yeah, there will be a lot of bonuses and things for the collectors to find out later down the line. But again, we won't put our cards open at this stage yet.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'm going to definitely throw this one back to Jack, because now we get to hear more about Enemy Metal. It's set to take off on July 15th. Can you tell us a little bit more about kind of what the launch entails, what, you know, somebody who wants to get involved with Enemy Metal when it launches, what they should be thinking about, what they should be doing, and just kind of what's going to be available for the user to do when we do launch here shortly?
Yeah, well, we're busy setting up now for the launch. Obviously, we have, you know, the back end is built, and we're finalizing our designs and just getting set up. But we're hoping to launch a complete product. So, you know, you'll buy your cards, you'll be able to open your packs immediately. We're working on the developers at the moment, but we're hoping to also have the marketplace live, if not at the same time, very, very soon after our launch. And yeah, I mean, we'll be releasing the battle plan also very soon. You know, I've always thought that a good plan should be something that's easy to explain. So instead of going with a white paper that's complicated and technical, I decided to put more of a visual example together. And as I say, we'll be sharing that with the community. You know, you can find us in Discord, and you'll be the first to see that. And the battle plan will show visually how we plan to roll out the Enemy Metal adventure. Yeah, well, that's pretty much, yeah, that's our launch. So it's been, you know, 3 years where we've been planning this this NFT economy. You know, as I say, like trying to make something that the players are involved in. You know, not just something that we're delivering to them, but you know, so the community is vitally important to us. You know, we've just started out. We haven't even made our formal announcement yet, and already, you know, we've got a buzzing little community starting. And yeah, I look forward to some, you know, to more support and sharing more information as the weeks go by towards the launch. You know, I believe it's about 35 days now, which is very little time for the technical guys, and I'm sure it'll drag by for the collectors. But we're working weekends. You know, it's crunch time, and yeah, we've made a lot of progress, and we're almost there, but we're just putting the polish together, and yeah, I'm very excited to be sharing this finally with the world.
Awesome. Yeah, I know. You know, space is one of my favorite places, and this kind of gives me like the No Man's Sky vibe. You're gonna go out, explore, find new planets, and kind of just, you know, have your own adventure in the universe. So I'm certainly looking forward to seeing everything come together when you guys do launch. So thank you for the great breakdown. So now we're going to bounce back and talk a little bit more about Neuno. We kind of gave a brief overview of what they're up to. Anything you could tell us maybe about not only just the progress on what's happening with Neuno, but what that user experience is going to feel like? What kind of experiences are you trying to build on the platform itself, and maybe any other interesting facts that maybe we don't know yet about what's going on with that product?
Yeah, let's say that Neuno is the most classified of all our projects right now, because it's being shaped for very big brands and names out there, and as you know, it's not that seamless. It's like it's real world business, right? It's not just not a Paris Hilton NFT being dropped in Sephora. So the brands, they want assurance that they're dealing with the right partner. They want assurance that the digital fashion assets will be around in 20 years. It's like a real luxury collectible, right? So that's what we've been building with the Neuno team, to allow for people, buy a skin, I can use in a game, I can use in my social media, but this brand is related to it, and they're putting their name into it. So the way we're doing is very serious. So the way the security of the Neuno platform will have, the way the trading will have in the Neuno platform, and the assurance of authenticity, and like to make the interoperability with gaming platforms, with social media platforms. There are many layers of implementations that we're doing. It will be super exciting when it will be out, but yeah, it's a little bit still classified. We cannot obviously not shout out any brand names, and it's kind of like let's wait a little bit for us to put the website live and cover step by step what Neuno is about. It's not a long way to have the landing page out. It's almost out there. So a little bit more patience to know more about Neuno.
Cool. And I think you mentioned two things I wanted to follow up on that. Is the first one is, I think when you're dealing with brands, you're dealing with IP that's really important, so that it's important to represent them right and that they feel comfortable in your ecosystem. So which leads me kind of to my next question is, what kind of questions do these brands have? You don't have to be specific about the brands, but just in general, when you're talking to a brand that's kind of curious about what you're building, kind of what are the big questions they have, and what kind of how do you answer those questions with the solutions you have on the other end?
Yeah, there are a million questions. We need to explain like are you Echo? Because like all of a sudden they were talking, like some of the brands were talking with Ethereum, and then they ask us if we're Echo because right now is a hot topic, right? And all of a sudden there's a lot of legal details that must be considered. One thing that I want to tell here, like Epix treats NFTs as property registry, right? So we really believe that the real assets is very important. So when you go to the notary, you don't put your house inside the notary, right? You register your house in the notary. And that's what we believe that blockchain does for collectibles, be it digital, be it physical. So to believe that the NFT is the whole thing that you're actually buying, no, it represents something real. It represents something that has a real world value on it. And that's what differentiates us a little bit from the other platforms. We really understand this process of registering an asset with blockchain technology and dealing with its property. So that's why it takes also a little bit more time for us to drop something out there, because we're really trying to assure that you're buying a real card from Mike Thompson that happens to have an NFT as the certificate of authenticity that is tradable, that is immutable, that is borderless, etc. So I would like to bring this on this, that it's a very important characteristic of our project. It's not just an excitement online virtual gallery. It's peeps that they know how to deal with art property and collectibles property and are building according to offer the solution to the users and give longevity and perpetuity, if possible, to collect.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And then the next project launching is, we've talked about it a bit, and I've kind of already showcased it, but Mike Thompson's hip hop icons, which I think just looks incredible. It's just amazing original artwork from a renowned artist. Love to hear more about kind of what's going on with hip hop icons, and even maybe some background on Mike for those who don't know Mike Thompson, what he's done and what he's accomplished in his career. He's just an incredible artist.
Yeah, Mike is an incredible Marvel and DC artist. I had the pleasure, actually, we're in touch with him on almost on daily basis, and you should see his Marvel art. It's absolutely breathtaking. He's an Adobe artist. He's one of the Caro painter masters. He's an easy brush master as well. So the dude is kind of like all over the place. I've seen like his sculptures that he does in his own place of Hulk, of Venom, you name it. So he starts sculpting them in the screen on easy brush, and he brings them to life on real sculptures. And we have a very close relationship with Mike T, and we would like to bring his mashups to life very soon. I can already hint that hip hop icons collection is volume 1, so you can expect more volumes coming out in the future. Obviously, this was created it was his passion for hip hop, so most of the icons here, they mean a lot for the artist, and people want to see all their hip hop icons in this collection. So in the future, obviously he wants, and there's a lot of requests, I would like to see these one, and we know that it's not in this volume of the collection. We'll try to bring more artists to the collection. And another like fun thing about the hip hop icons, it's also a little bit classified. I think Christina will not be happy with me with that, but we're working with music as well. So there are real hip hop icons compositions being done by some pretty dope hip hop DJs and MCs. And we'll be unfolding like some assets, not only with visual hip hop art, but digital exclusive hip hop icons, content, music, and tunes.
Wow.
Tracks.
That's a big news drop. Christina's not going to be happy with you at all. No, that's amazing. I think that's something to look forward to. I think even just
No, I
seeing the
think this
execution of
is
it.
important. Yeah, to give some Easter eggs.
Yeah.
You won't hear anything anytime soon, but you can expect to have some exclusive hip hop icons tracks.
Very, very, very cool. Wow. So we went through a whole lot of content. We talked a lot about Epix, talked a lot about what we know about. Maybe anything else that we haven't touched on, whether it's how you're building your platforms or something else that maybe you can tease? Like you just dropped a bomb on us ahead of time, so I don't know how you follow that up. But
Yeah.
anything you really wanted to chat about, and maybe that we didn't touch on, or
this
that
this way. So these, I think you can see in my background. This DJ. Let me try to move to the right direction to show you the DJ Frida Kahlo.
yeah.
So that's another artist that we already onboarded. He's a sci-fi and fantasy art legend, exclusive on Epix. We've been working, and now I'll answer something that you asked before, like how you can get involved, how you can become a brand or an artist under the Epix umbrella. So on Epix, we like to work with the brand, with the artist, A to Z. So if you have a collection of a number of pieces that you didn't launch anywhere else, or you eventually painted them, but you have the digital versions that you would like to bring to life as a digital collection. We work A to Z with the artist or with the brands. We have like on Epix in-house a team of 12 designers in all competences that you can imagine, from 3D, AR, animation, illustration, and so on. So we like to work with the artists and bring, like, create this beautiful package for their collection, like we're doing with Mike Thompson. Also, our economists, like we have people dealing with the gamification of the collection. So we work A to Z to bring this collection to life, make it as exciting as possible, as good looking as possible, and as gamified as possible. So we have a serious compromise with gamification. The Epix platform, you have the gamification of the collections like Enemy Metal has, but we'll have a horizontal global gamification to keep people involved, engaged, not bored with I bought 5 packs of the hip hop icons, I got 5 M&Ms, what I'm gonna do with them? So on Epix, you'll find what to do with your repeated cards, you'll find what to do with your illiquid assets, and so on. So we're working hard on having these ongoing excitement and gamification, like a big Epix is to be a big NFT video, not video game, but game out there, where people can interact with the collections, play with the collections in its own gamification, and then transition from one collection to the other to keep as big NFT collectible game.
Yeah, that's incredible that you brought these things up, because when we talk about the partners we bring on Flow and kind of how we try to find people who share our vision and that we align with, one of the big things is a big focus on the engagement loops with users, and the things you're touching on regarding, like, what do you do once you have your NFTs? What do you do when you have 5 M&Ms or an illiquid asset? It's a big part of trying to keep people engaged and happy with what they're doing on your platform. So knowing that your team is thinking about this and letting everybody know that you guys are thinking about this is a big, it's exactly what you mentioned earlier, is that it was a great fit trying to find when we found each other. And it's going to be really exciting to have Epix in our ecosystem, doing really great things. It's really exciting for all of us to hear back at Flow. So that's very exciting to hear. And now we have a handful of community questions. We have roughly 10 minutes left looking at the clock. So I'd love to just kind of do maybe some quick fire of what we were asked by the community at large. And I'll lob this one to Jack first. We have an Enemy Metal question. Actually, we have a couple Enemy Metal questions, so I'll just start with you. Can we have some info on the planet cards that will be released in the Enemy Metal Foundation packs? Anything you could tell people about what the actual planet cards would be like?
Yeah, sure. So there will be 2 main types of cards with the Foundation Edition. We'll introduce different types in the future, but for now, there'll be the planet cards and the spaceship cards. The planet cards will be used to build mines. So for example, if you have duplicate gold cards, you'll be able to trade them in for a gold mine, diamond cards for a diamond mine. The spaceships will be used to build starships. And again, so this will be done through the phases. So you won't be able to upgrade immediately, but during our next phase, which is construction, you'll be able to trade those in. And then ultimately the 3rd phase, you'll be able to use your mines and starships to mint new cards.
Great. And then the next question I had about Enemy Metal is, what are your biggest inspirations gameplay wise with Enemy Metal?
Well, I have a lot of, I guess they're talking about the arcade game there. The biggest inspiration with the arcade games I played in my youth. You know, we used to play a game called Slap Bite. I think the more modern version is called Raiden. You know, 1942, these kind of top-down shooters. And then in particular, Star Control had a little side mission where you would send your little plane to the surface of the planet, and you try and grab as many minerals as you could before all the natural elements destroyed you. You know, you'd have earthquakes and volcanoes, and I think it was taking these old ideas with amazing gameplay, I mean, into the 21st century with a bit of a spin on it. You know, I wanted to have a map that didn't have edges, so I built the entire thing on a sphere. You know, data driven so that we can add multiplayer in the future. It's a complete self-functioning planet, you know, with defenses, automated defenses. And as I say, eventually something we're going to put, you know, we're going to move towards PvP. But just to take those classic games and just put them on a, you know, in a fun, fast interface, you know, with a mining system as well. So, you know, you get to experience like new planets and a whole, you know, it's not something where you travel across the stars. It's one solar system that humanity has moved to, and you're able to just move between those planets. So I'm very excited.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's one of the cool things is that we're starting to see kind of old games come to life in new ways on blockchain. It's like with Enemy Metal, and then like last week or 2 weeks ago, I chatted with the Chain Monsters team, and they're building a monster collecting and hunting game, and it's like they have that old gameplay that people are so familiar with, and that were great gameplay elements that have these new applications and kind of new twists and ideas being applied to them via blockchain technology. And I think we haven't even we're starting to see the possibilities on that front, and that's what makes I can't wait to see Enemy Metal really go live and see what it's all about myself. Next question I have here is, will Mike Thompson launch collections besides hip hop icons? I know that you already teased there's going to be a volume 2 at least, to capture more artists that people love. But is he thinking about any other types of art or any other types of collections that you could tease, or is that you know, classified?
Well, you can have some hints when you go to his ArtStation profile. Like as I said, he has incredible Marvel art, and in my opinion, he's one of the best out there on sculpting Marvel 3D figures and figurines. So who knows? Like, we're working hard to get the chance to sell those assets. It's a big collection of Marvel DC assets. Let's see what we can come up with in the future. He also has very fun mashups. When you look at our page, you can see this fish head, man. That's from Mike Thompson. The Venom on the one of the banner when we talk about the drops is Mike Thompson, and we're bringing other artists from this caliber to the platform very soon, starting with the next collection. Every collection we do, they take a little bit to be ready, because there's a lot of work, a lot of passion, a lot of interaction from the team. The Epix team is super excited to work with artists and brands that would like to bring their NFT collection to life in an incredible way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really obvious when you look at anything you guys have really put out there yet, is the amount of care and like how well tailored and crafted the products are. It's not like, it's very obvious a lot of time was taken to create everything that you guys have launched so far and that you showcased so far, from Enemy Metal to Mike Thompson. It's really great to see. But you touch on, you know, kind of you're open to these premium experiences, and you know, you've talked to a lot of different brands in a lot of different spaces, and I'm curious as to maybe, you know, we're hearing about luxury brands, we're obviously art's a big deal, but maybe what other kinds of brands that we haven't seen get into the blockchain space yet? What other brands do you think maybe we're going to start seeing getting involved that maybe we haven't even thought about yet? And maybe what other spaces they're in?
Well, I think showbiz entertainment will very soon come. We've seen with the Olympic pins that you guys are bringing down to life. Like, it's very, very exciting and makes us really, really happy to see such players joining the Flow ecosystem. And we're working towards some like big news for the community in the future. We also have some like heavy duty partnerships to bring to the Epix platform, and in the future to the upcoming platforms that we are to launch. But I think like kind of everyone right now. I like so many studios are mentioning, so many people from different IPs and brands. They're exploring, they're checking what is the best platform. Should I go to Ethereum? And we're saying, oh, definitely not. You should come to Flow and develop with Epix because like we're geared up to help you do your things right, not just get into an NFT adventure without any assurance of the future. But yeah, I think many industries are starting to touch like the fantasy sport industry, esports, luxury goods. You see some experience out there from some brands that they don't care much. It's just like, let's sell some sneakers for a very expensive price, and then what happens next, no one knows. But yeah, I see a lot of showbiz entertainment coming to the NFT world in the upcoming months, and I guess it will get super exciting because there are many celebrities talking about wanting to know more about, wanting to do something about an NFT. How can I immortalize these moments, these situations, these things that I have here in the drawer that I couldn't touch for so long? Let's make it an incredible collection. And we're here to help.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for a little bit insight as to kind of the overall kind of what industries are talking about. And I think, yeah, you're totally right. Like, we haven't seen any large scale kind of celebrity or show business kind of integrations yet, and it'll be interesting to see. Obviously it's coming. It'll be curious to see how that plays out. I think that's all the questions we have specifically here. We have 2 minutes left, so anything else you guys wanted to chat about before we say goodbye for the day?
Yeah, there's one other thing we haven't talked about is the physical merchandise. We're also using near field communication, NFCs, and combining that with NFTs so that the merchandise you buy for Enemy Metal and for the other Epix products will all be verified and have a corresponding NFT. You know, so for provable, you know, ownership of your branded physical products as well. I think that's also something really, really awesome that Epix is working on.
Awesome.
So yeah, 15th of July, Enemy Metal launch. Mark the calendars and follow us and Enemy Metal to know what's next, because we have a lot of things that we didn't mention today.
Awesome. July 15th, Enemy Metal, and you can definitely check them out at ThisIsEpix.com to stay up with everything their team is doing right now. You could probably expect to hear more from Enemy Metal and Flow here in the next month before they launch. And just wanted to thank everybody for joining us for an hour here to really explore what Epix is building and kind of your vision. And I think you painted a really great picture as to why you're such a great fit with the Flow ecosystem, and kind of gave a really great overview of the type of experiences that you're curating, the premium experiences you're going to have with NFTs, and the gameplay and engagement loops you're building to keep people coming back to ThisIsEpix as one of their favorite places to go when they just want to hang out and play with some stuff that they love, whether it's collectibles or whether it's a game like Enemy Metal. So thank you so much, Fred. Thank you so much, Jack, and thank you so much, Christina. Your time has been wonderfully spent here, and looking forward to chatting again very soon.
Thank you, Drew. And we apologize for the freestyling. We love to freestyle a lot, so we normally don't prepare much. So sometimes we come back to answer the questions later, and then we really like to go free on what we're talking about and not get too boring. Yeah. So thank you for the opportunity again, and I hope to see you very soon.
Take care,
Stay tuned to what's to become Epix. Bye-bye.
Great. Thanks. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for having